When Sophia leaned across the kitchen counter that night, her eyes carried a strange glint, half daring, half mocking. I had just asked her, almost timidly, if she was truly happy with me, with us. She laughed, an unsettling laugh that didn't belong to the woman I thought I knew. Then she said it. I need to see if size really matters, something you'll never know. The words hung in the air like poison, seeping into every corner of the room. For a moment, I thought I had misheard her. I blinked, waiting for her to smirk, to tell me it was a cruel joke. But she didn't. She leaned back casually, sipping her wine, eyes darting away as if the matter was settled. Inside, my chest burned. Not with insecurity, but with a quiet storm of realization. This wasn't just about intimacy, or even about some shallow preference. It was about respect, dignity, and the way she saw me. I could have shouted, could have demanded an explanation, but instead, I chose silence. I only looked at her and replied calmly, "Okay." Her eyebrow arched in surprise, as though she expected rage, or tears, or desperate pleas. But I gave her none of that. I turned and walked away, leaving her with her wine and her smirk. She thought my calm was weakness. She had no idea it was resolve. That night, as she slept soundly beside me, I lay awake replaying her words. Every moment of our marriage flashed before me. The sacrifices, the loyalty, the countless times I had put her first. And now, here I was, being mocked by the very person who was supposed to be my safe place. By morning, Sophia carried on as if nothing had happened. She made coffee, hummed to herself, even kissed my cheek before rushing off to work. But something inside me had shifted. Her betrayal wasn't physical yet, but emotionally, it was already done. And that's when I decided, if she wanted to play games with my worth, I would make my move. Not with shouting, not with begging, but with actions that would cut deeper than her words ever could. Over the next few days, I studied Sophia carefully, almost like an outsider watching a stranger. She still moved around the house with ease, tapping away on her phone late at night, leaving the screen tilted just enough that I couldn't see. She laughed at messages that weren't mine, and her eyes lit up in a way they hadn't for me in years. It didn't take a genius to figure out what was happening. She was already preparing to test her theory with someone else. Instead of confronting her, I became deliberate. My words were fewer, my tone measured. I stopped asking about her day, stopped waiting up for her when she came home late. I began investing my time where it truly mattered. My work, my friendships, and myself. While she thought she was slowly pushing me into a corner, I was quietly building the walls that would shield me from the storm she was creating. One evening, she tossed her purse on the sofa and announced with forced casualness, "I'll be going away with some friends this weekend. Don't wait up." The way she avoided my eyes said everything. She wasn't going with friends. She was testing her theory. I only smiled and said, "Okay, enjoy." That simple response seemed to rattle her. She narrowed her eyes, waiting for jealousy, for protest. But again, I gave her nothing. My silence wasn't indifference. It was power. That weekend, as she left in her carefully chosen dress, perfume lingering in the air, I made my move, not against her, but for myself. I gathered the financial documents, the house deeds, the accounts I had quietly secured. Years of hard work, investments she never bothered to understand, all placed neatly under my control. While she was chasing an illusion, I was ensuring that when the storm broke, I wouldn't be the one left in ruins. By Sunday night, she stumbled back home, her laughter forced, her face flushed with the kind of guilt that perfume and excuses can't hide. She tried to mask it with chatter, asking if I missed her. I only nodded politely and returned to my book. Deep inside, though, I knew the real game had just begun. Because while Sophia thought she was exploring her freedom, I was already preparing the chapter where she'd face the consequences of underestimating me. The weeks that followed were a study in silence. Sophia grew bolder, mistaking my calm for blindness. She slipped out late at night, claimed work dinners on weekends, and laughed too easily when her phone buzzed. But what she didn't notice was the shift in me. I wasn't the same husband waiting at the door. I wasn't the man silently begging for scraps of affection. I was patient, calculating, and every move I made was leading her exactly where I wanted her. One evening, as we sat across the table, she finally dropped the mask. David, she said with a smug little smile. Maybe we should take a break. I need space to figure things out. Her words were smooth, but her eyes flickered, betraying the fact that she already had someone waiting in the shadows. I set down my fork and met her gaze. If that's what you want, Sophia, I replied, my voice steady. Then let's not waste any more time pretending. I slid a folder across the table. Inside were the divorce papers, already signed on my end, already prepared with every asset secured in my name. The look on her face was priceless. Shock, confusion, then anger. You planned this? She whispered, her voice trembling. No, I said evenly. You planned this the moment you decided I wasn't enough. I just chose to act before you could destroy me. She flipped through the pages, her face draining of color as she realized she had no leverage. The house, the savings, the business. Everything had been moved, protected, locked away. She had mocked me for being too quiet, too patient. Now she was discovering what patience truly meant. Her voice cracked. So that's it? You're just going to walk away? I stood, pushing the chair back slowly. No, Sophia. You walked away the moment you said I'd never know. I just decided not to chase after someone who didn't value me. For the first time, the power wasn't in her hands, it was in mine. And as I left the house that night, I didn't look back. She wanted to see if size mattered. In the end, it wasn't about size at all. It was about strength, the kind she never expected me to have. And in that quiet victory, I finally found my freedom.